John Scott here with Vic Carucci as the Bills selecting Kentucky cornerback Max Hairston with a 30th overall pick. Brandon Beane saying they had opportunities to move up, had opportunities to move back, ultimately staying put at 30 and getting probably the most talked about position and glaring need maybe that the entire roster needed.
Yeah, I think what they did, bottom line, is go the safe route because it does address a need. And there is some risk, as we found out last year, when you trade down. There's risk when you trade up. And I guess we've seen both ends of that with some of the more recent moves that Brandon Beane has made. But in making this selection and putting it in the context of a player who, yes, has great speed, that's his best quality, maybe not the best tackler, that's the quality that might have to be worked on and needs to, or maybe has gained size, be stronger, all those things. But at the end of the day, no real pressure to push him into the lineup so fast when you've got tre'davious White, Dane Jackson, experienced players at the position.
Let's start with the speed because it literally pops off the page. A 4.28 40-yard dash, fastest of anyone at the NFL Combine. It pops off of tape as well. We heard Brandon Beane reference it over and over and over again in his remarks following making the selection here. When you think of guys like Xavier Worthy and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and the list goes on and on and on, this is a big element that this defense has been missing that now is filled in a big way.
And, you brought up Worthy, and I think that speed quality was something that the Bills made a value judgment to opt away from. And maybe there's a sense of being haunted by that in light of him helping the Chiefs, get to a Super Bowl, another Super Bowl. And I think that idea that, okay, if speed is there, and we've got our chance to make a pick instead of trying to maneuver away from that one way or the other. Getting a guy is fast, getting a guy that you got to know a little bit better because of the visit he had here as part of the 30 players the Bills were able to bring in, or the limit the league allows before the draft. I think that played into a decision that, again, was safe.
And let's not make any mistake about it. Yeah, there's sometimes these gym warriors, the testing warriors, the guys that they can run well in shorts and things like that. But again, the tape, and there was a play against Isaiah Bond, a guy from Texas, that a lot of people like in this draft, who you saw the recovery speed. So it's not just simply, hey, we're testing on a track with no pads and everything on. The speed showcases itself beyond just we're running through cones and things like that. But the tackling is a big thing, and it's maybe the most surprising part of the selection because it is valued so highly by Sean McDermott and this organization, and has been through their entire time being here. They reference it all the time, and it's a big concern.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Brandon Beane was pretty upfront in addressing that, saying, look, there are some plays where he, however it worked out, where the tackle that should have been made wasn't made, but he emphasized that he has a willingness to tackle, and I don't think that was enough of a question, obviously, to discourage them. But yes, you want a cornerback to be outstanding in coverage. That is something Worthy has, those coverage skills. But yeah, the physicality, the willingness to get in there, put your face mask in there and make those plays, those more physical plays that the Bills want to see their corners make, their DBs make, is still something that I guess they believe he can develop. But I think the weight issue is something to watch because Beane points out that he was in his 180s when he played, 180s range pounds, and that he's gained since the end of the college season, maybe 10 or so in the 190s. So we'll see how that translates, because does that take away from some of the speed? That would be the other question.
Now, Hairston saying in his Zoom call after being selected, he's up to 192. His weight at the Combine was 183. So he ran that 4.28, but Hairston making it clear, I'll run the 4.28 at 192 right now. We'll see it. Again, play speed's a little different, even in the 4.3s. He'll still have it, but he's beefing up. Brandon Beane saying once he gets in their weight room, this fantastic facility, the hope is to continue to develop the body there. Hairston saying he's a willing tackler himself. He wants to get in there, but understands there are ways to improve. Now we look ahead, Vic, here to round 2 and 3, but they only got 2 picks right now in the second round. Let's just start with that philosophy. How much of a preference and priority do you think acquiring a third is for Brandon Beane?
Yeah, I think it's still on the table. With 9 remaining picks in this draft, you have to believe there's enough capital to do a little something to perhaps maneuver their way and get that third. I think that's something they really want. It's a sweet spot pick area for them and for a lot of teams. So I'm not ruling out that some maneuvering could happen. Maybe they're in the process of trying to figure that out as we speak. So, I think it's a priority.
Position priority. They knocked off the number 1 at the list, which is cornerback here. Edge rusher, defensive tackle, wide receiver. I know you've been on the running back train a little bit here. Where do you think are the best positions to go, also kind of factoring in where the board is now?
Yeah, I think it's all of the above. I think all of those will play into what they do over actually the next 2 days of this draft. And it feels like D-line is still something, and especially D-tackle is something where they want to come out with somebody, again, not an immediate starter, and Max Hairston may very well not be an immediate starter. So if they go along with that thinking of finding what they see as a quality player who could give them some depth on the D-line, at receiver, add to their receiving core. I don't know that you're getting a transformative guy at that position in the second round. And you brought up running back, as I've brought it up, and you and I have discussed it. But yeah, when you think about the uncertainty that looms with James Cook, then yeah, I think that's somebody you've got to have in the pipeline.
And the class is really strong too,
at the position,
especially in the second round here. Hopefully, we won't have to wait nearly as long as we did tonight.
Right.
2 second-round picks, second and third round, which is set to begin around 7 o'clock. Of course, we'll have coverage leading into that with Max Haristen expected to be introduced here sometime on Friday afternoon. Getting my days mixed up considering it's after midnight.
We're already there.
With Vic Carucci, I'm John Scott for Channel 2 Sports.